What's going on, LinkedIn? So let's get real today. If somebody crosses your boundaries, intentionally or not, are you speaking up or are you just going to stay quiet? So, me, I'm speaking up. Most times I'm going to speak up, depending on how big it is. Even if it's small, I try to speak up nowadays because, excuse me, small stuff, it can build up, right? And then you don't want anything to build up and explode over, something so simple. And, for me, I come from a background where I grew up around a lot of gang members, bullies, whatever. And then the gang members and like wannabe gang members would bully just in general. So they were habitual line steppers, meaning they will cross boundaries just to mess with you. And, after a while, that drove me a little nuts. And to where I just knew how to, I wanted to explode. And I let that slide for a long time. But as I got older and I learned about boundaries and whatnot, I decided like, hey, I don't want to be that guy anymore to where like I can go off because, it's still there. But luckily, I'm so much more in control compared to high school and after high school that I know how to like recognize, hey, this is what's wrong. This is what I don't like. And I'm going to let you know. Because, I knew some people that they would check, it's called checking you, like, oh, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And they might like hit you or something or play around like that. And it's like, hey, stop. And then like, you get a little upset. And then, there was one time I was at security and one of the dudes kept messing with me and like calling me soft, like I'm weak, I won't do nothing. And like he said it, I said, like he just said it one more time and I made it real clear that, hey, leave me alone. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was a funny experience, but it's like I shouldn't feel that angry. You know what I mean? And none of us should have to feel that angry because people shouldn't push our boundaries to that limit. And I know some people, people don't try to cross your boundaries all the time, and sometimes you just gotta let people know. But it can be difficult to address it because you don't want to upset your friends or family or whoever. But if we let people cross our boundaries all the time, they're gonna cross more. You know what I mean? So it might start with something small, but later they might push the boundary, and then eventually it can either be too late, and you don't like you can say something, but then it might be like, oh, why didn't you say something before? Blah blah blah, or it could get so bad to where you blow up and like you cuss somebody out or you hit somebody over a whole bunch of small stuff that had been building up over such a long time. So the best way is to speak up if somebody crosses a line with you because everybody's different. You know what I mean? Everybody's different. And yeah, sometimes it sucks to have to address that stuff. But if you don't, worse things can happen than somebody being like, oh man, like, why? Like I'd rather hear somebody question it or like be a little upset than later me going off and saying some stuff I don't even want to say. Like, you know what I mean? Because everybody has mental limits too. So with that being said, set your boundaries, and people that love you and respect you and care about you, they're going to respect those boundaries. And if they ask questions, it should be out of love. Like, oh, I don't know, I didn't know that was a boundary. Why do you feel this way about that boundary? What is it that bothers you? And then, granted, a person has a great reason, then it shouldn't be no question. Like, that makes sense. That's reasonable. That's logical. I didn't understand that from your perspective. Okay, I respect your boundary. I respect how you feel, and I understand. There should be no negotiation between that. And yeah, I know like some boundaries just might be straight up ridiculous. So I'm not talking about things that don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? But like things that are like reasonable and logical and, create a positive environment for the person or whoever else. Those kind of boundaries should be respected and not challenged. Question out of general curiosity and to gain understanding, yes. But to be like, nah, I'm not cool with that, so I'm just going to do what I want to do. Nah, that's not okay. So, as a coach, I'm going to tell people you should set your boundaries because you don't want to live a life to where you're feeling unhappy with people around you because they don't know how to respect boundaries or put up boundaries for themselves even. So, keep your environment safe. set up those boundaries. Don't be afraid to say what you want to say, because people who love you and care about you for real, they're going to try to understand and they're going to stick around. So that's all I got to say.